Good evening, folks. Welcome to tonight's exposé, where we unravel one of the biggest myths in the luxury world, Italian leather. You've heard of it, you've probably bought it. But the truth, it's not Italian at all. In fact, it's likely Nigerian goat skin. And the real kicker? You've been paying top dollar for it, based on a lie. Stick around, because tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on this leather lie and explore how Nigeria's goats have been robbed of their rightful place in the luxury goods market.
You heard that right. That bag you've been flaunting with pride, convinced that it was made with care and skill in Italy, may have come from a Nigerian goat who never got a mention in your designer label. In this investigative report, we'll break down how this luxury has been built on the backs of Nigerian goats, and how the Italians have been reaping the benefits. All for a label and all for profit. Let's start with the basics. What is Italian leather? Well, it's a marketing term more than anything. Sure, it sounds great. Italy's known for its leather craftsmanship, right? But in reality, much of the leather labeled Italian comes from elsewhere, specifically from Nigerian goats. The goats are raised in Nigeria, the skins are sold to European manufacturers, and then they get shipped off to Italy, where they're processed, dyed, and branded as made in Italy.
So basically, the Italians take Nigerian goat skins, add some dye, slap on a Made in Italy label, and voila, luxury. It's like taking a sandwich, adding some Italian seasoning, and calling it Italian cuisine. But no one's asking where the bread and cheese came from, right?
Exactly. The goats in Nigeria are doing all the hard work, and the Italians get the credit. And no one's asking questions about where that Made in Italy really came from. So, we're left paying astronomical prices for something that's not even Italian. Imagine spending thousands of dollars for a luxury bag, only to find out it's basically a Nigerian goat wrapped in Italian flair. What's the real price of luxury here?
Alright, now let's talk about the Nigerian goats. You might not think much about goat skin, but Nigeria's goat population is huge. And those skins? They're a byproduct of the country's booming goat meat industry. Nigerians love their goat meat. It's a staple in their cuisine. But what happens to the skins? They're sold cheaply to manufacturers who ship them overseas. But you won't see Nigeria making high-end leather products out of their own goat skins. No. Instead, those skins end up in Italy, where they're turned into luxury goods.
And you know what? Nigeria should be capitalizing on this. Instead of just selling goat skins for pennies, they could be processing them locally, creating high-end leather goods, and keeping the profits within the country. But no one's talking about that. Why? Because the Made in Italy label has so much more market power. It's a classic case of exploitation. The Italians get the luxury, and Nigeria gets, well, goat skins for pennies.
Ah yes, the circle of life. Italy gets to sell your goat skin at 10 times the price, and Nigeria gets to watch as the world praises Italian craftsmanship. Beautiful, isn't it?
Now let's take this up a notch. Why has this whole Italian leather myth persisted? Why do people continue to pay top dollar for leather that isn't even Italian? It all boils down to branding. Italian leather has become a term synonymous with quality and luxury. You throw the word Italian on anything, and it immediately feels more exclusive, more expensive. It's all about the perception of luxury, not the actual quality of the leather.
So, it's all a marketing game. Italian leather isn't about where the leather comes from. It's about selling a story. It's like saying a car is European engineered when all that means is it's got some fancy branding slapped on it. The quality of the leather might actually be better coming from Nigeria, but who's going to ask about the goats?
Exactly. The reality is that Nigeria's leather could very well be the best out there. But because it doesn't have that Italian brand, it's treated as inferior. And as long as Italy keeps slapping its name on the leather, the world will continue to believe it's the best, even if it's Nigerian goats doing the heavy lifting.
Speaking of branding, let's talk about another country that knows a thing or two about this game, China. Everyone's heard the stereotype. Made in China means cheap, low-quality products. But that's starting to change. China is the backbone of global manufacturing, and now with tariffs and trade wars, they're demanding credit for their work. They've been making high-end products for years. Think Nike, think Gucci, but no one ever acknowledges it. It's the same playbook as Made in Italy.
Exactly. Just like Italy, China is starting to say, hey, we're making your fancy stuff too. But for decades, people have been conditioned to think that anything made in China is low quality. Well, surprise, surprise, China is manufacturing high-end products. But no one will admit that because of the stigma attached to the Made in China label. It's the same thing with Italian leather. It's not about quality, it's about what people believe.
And why wouldn't they believe it? If you throw a designer brand on something, suddenly, it's more valuable. The truth is, China and Nigeria have been making top-tier products all along, but we've been distracted by labels that sell a story, not the truth.
So what's the cost of all this deception? For one, Nigeria misses out on an entire luxury goods industry. If people knew the truth about Nigerian goats and their role in the leather market, the value of Nigerian goat skins would rise. Local industries could thrive, and Nigerians could finally start profiting from what's been rightfully theirs all along.
But as long as Italy gets to claim the glory, Nigeria stays in the shadows. It's a cycle that's been going on for far too long. Imagine a world where Nigeria's goats are treated like the luxury resource they truly are. That could transform the country's economy and open up new markets. But instead, Nigeria gets the short end of the stick while Italy gets richer off of someone else's hard work.
So, what can be done about this? The solution is simple: transparency. We need to stop pretending that Italian leather is a mark of quality. We need to recognize that the true value is in the origins of the leather, whether that's in Nigeria, China, or anywhere else. If people knew that Nigerian goats were the source of so much luxury, the market would change. Prices would rise, and the real craftsmen, whether they're in Nigeria, China, or Italy, would get the credit they deserve.
Transparency could change everything. If we start recognizing the true origin of luxury goods, we could end the cycle of exploitation and make sure that those who do the work get the credit and the profits.
So, the next time you buy something labeled Made in Italy, ask yourself, where did the leather really come from? If the world knew the truth about Italian leather, would Nigeria's goatskins finally get the recognition they deserve? Maybe it's time we rebrand luxury for what it really is, and stop paying for a story that isn't even true.
Until next time, folks, keep questioning your luxury purchases, and remember, not everything that's made in Italy is what it seems. The Italian Leather Lie, a special investigative report.